All right. I want to welcome you back again for today's class. And
Thank you.
we are dealing on exposing the greatness in you. Like I always say, there is no one without, there's no one born poor, actually. We may be born, from a poor family. We may be born from a background that is so wretched, but we are born great. There's so much greatness in us, but many of us may not be able to understand the kind of greatness in us. So we want to go into figuring out where this greatness is hidden. And last week, it was more of what I call intro production. I ran through the course that we're going to do for the number of 2 months and from the beginning to the end. And we said we are going to use the 6 Ps, 6 P tools. And I don't know if anyone can remember, we talked about the past, talked about
present,
the present, yeah?
Yeah, past, present,
Purpose,
and the purpose.
purpose,
correct? Then the next one, planning,
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 yeah,
pursuit,
pursue,
and perseverance.
and perseverance.
perseverance,
Thank you
yeah.
so very much. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, now you're talking. These are the kind of students I'm looking out for, right? I'm happy to have you. So today we are going to work on the past. We are going to excavate the past to be able to figure out the hidden greatness in the past. But before I do that, I remember I've always been working on the mind. It is the mind first. Without the mind, nothing works. So my concept, I want to make sure that I help you to change your mindset, all right? The way that you think, you used to think, for you to think outside the box and begin to see things from a different view. Like I always say that we are as a result of the environment, our background, the education, and the exposure that we have or we had, that we are a result of those things. So if you want to actually move from where you are to something else, you have to expose yourself, to something greater. And that is, I think that is one of the things that you're going to get from this course, that will also help you to be able to understand who you are and what your purpose is and how to attain it. So like I said the last time, that the basic functions of the mind is thoughts. Actually thoughts are unspoken words. When you look at somebody, when you see somebody writing, sometimes he takes his pen, at a point he takes it down, right? He's writing. After that, he hangs it up again. What do you think is happening? There's something going on in the mindset, in the thought. Okay, he begins to think about something. And when it comes out, right there, there's a logic going on and what he wants to present, and maybe his audience and all that. Now, when it clicks, he writes down. So thoughts are unspoken words, words in our mind, words in our mind that have not been spoken. These are thoughts. Now, when it is written, it becomes now written thoughts, written thoughts. So that is why if you want to know the mind of somebody, read his books. His books will tell you exactly what is in his mind. So in your mind, that is where your thoughts are. That is where your emotions are, both the high and the low emotion, the emotion of love, the emotion of hate, the emotion of other stuff. That's also where your willpower is. That's the same place where you can discipline yourself. That's also where your desires are. Desire of the things that you want to achieve, where you want to get to, it is in the mind. So the mind is actually one of the greatest wealth that God gave to us. Okay, our Creator gave to us. And there is no one without a mind. Maybe it could be somebody whose mind has been corrupted or somebody who has got an issue with the mind, but every one of us has got mind. So in our mind is loaded with so much greatness. The next thing that have been given to everyone equally is time. It's also one of the greatest wealth so far. So if you are working on your mind is your human capital. Without the mind, you cannot function. You cannot become whomever you want to be. Then the next thing is your time, to be able to utilize your time well. Your time is your life. Every minute that you waste, you are actually wasting your life. I'm going to talk about that in the near future. So I talked about the basic functions of the mind is your thoughts, it is the emotions, it is where the willpower is, it is where your desires are. And I said the mind is the weightiest. It is the most potent part of the body. It is most productive. It is the richest part of the body. The mind is also the battlefield with great spoil. It said, whomever wins the battle of the mind wins everything. So in your mind is where everything is stored. I also told us last week, I said, in your mind, that is where a copy of your destiny, of your purpose, what you are supposed to be here on this surface earth, what you are meant to do here is actually stored in your mind. So if you want to get it out, you have to dig deep into your mind to be able to extract it. That is why I'm focusing on the mind first before I go into anything. Mind is quite very, very important. Okay. I said, no one is better than you. You need to know this. Either you are as my student or as a human being here on earth, there is no one better than you. You know, we are the one who limit ourselves. We are the one who bring down ourselves to become like others. We are not like others. Gotham, you are not like me. You are very special, very, very special. I am very special in my own way. You know, there's no two of you here on earth, and there's none that has existed before you, and there is none that will exist after you. It is only you and only you alone. So you are very, very special. Everyone is special. We are special species, all right? And I talked about that for you to also understand how you can better yourself, you have to actually work on yourself. You need to learn how to convert some of the qualities which others whom you consider to be so talented or so successful, they converted their time, they converted their talent, they converted their opportunity, like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and many of them, they all converted something. So if you are able also to convert your time, convert your talent, because we are all talented, also the opportunities that comes across your way, your life will be transformed. Also talked about that if you are suffering from a financial meltdown, this was from Henry Ford, and you do not have a clear path out of the chaos, your financial situation will likely not improve in the coming years. This is actually very, very true. If you don't understand, if you don't have a pathway to come out of your circumstance, or if you don't have a pathway to understand who you are and where you are going to, really your life remains the same. And things doesn't just happen, things are meant to happen. Now, we'll go into the topic for the day. But before then, what else do I have? I still want to work on the mind. Trust me, I will not start sharing with you anything until I have worked on the mind. There's a man whom I respect so much. He's the guy who wrote Think and Grow Rich. I don't know if you know that book. It's called Napoleon Hill. I have the book here. Think and Grow Rich. Now, simply means if you want to be rich, it is actually stored in your mind. You can think it out. Many people who have become successful, they actually were successful through the things that they taught, their thought process gave to them. And this was how he defined greatness. Greatness is the ability, listen to this carefully, many of the inspirational speakers, many of the writers in the world, they got inspiration from him. You can look out for his book. His book is it's one of the awesome books so far. All right, Think and Grow Rich. It says the greatness is the ability to take control of your mind, okay, and putting it into good use for the purposes of attending specific goals. For the purposes of attaining specific goals. So greatness is the ability to take control of your mind, of one's mind, and not only taking control, but also to put it into good use. You may put it into bad use or ugly use, but it's talking about good use to be able to achieve your purpose, attain your purpose or specific goals. And also I'm putting it to you again, telling you that everything that we have ever been in life was as a result of the activities of our minds. So this is point and clear. We can only attain a level of goals based on the usage of our minds. So our mind is quite very important. Therefore, for anyone, now listen to this carefully, this is mind making, okay? For anyone to live a purposeful and fulfilled life, he or she has to think outside the box of the world system. What is the world system? The world system actually has succeeded in programming us to indirect slavery, such as attend school. You know, you were born, you saw others going to school, you said that you want to go to school. They told you, okay, go to school. You go to school, attend all the classes, take all the courses, take all the MBAs, take all the masters and whatever, every course, your PhD and all that. Now use it to do what? To acquire a good job, okay? Good job, good paying job, so that you have good status in the country or in your community, so that you become one of them. After that, you know, while you are doing that in your job, what happens? Actually, you are exchanging two valuable things. What are they paying you for? They are paying you for your time. They are paying you for your talent, which is human capital. Your talent, these are the things they pay. They pay you for your time. They pay you for your capital, your human capital, your talent. Now, when you are doing that, you are actually exchanging your talent and your time, which is your real you, for money. And while you are doing that, you are also exchanging your purpose, because you don't have time also to think about your purpose. You don't have time to even to think outside the box. It's only, you know, wake up, go to work, have some cash and all that. Also, not only that, it doesn't stop there. For you to make money, this is the way that we have been programmed. Okay, you go to school, acquire all the degrees, have a job, get some money, get married, have children, pay bills, buy houses or one house, take some vacations, retire, and die. This is how we have been programmed, everyone. But if you want to actually become better, you have to think outside the box. You know, if you ask anyone now, any human being, they will tell you, I'll just go to school, get a job, and what next? Nothing else. You know, I'll enjoy holidays and what? Now, the last one, this is Benjamin Franklin that states this. He said, people die at 25 and they are buried at 75. This is quite true. How and why? When you stop dreaming, anytime you stop dreaming, you actually dead. Now, when you are in school, you are dreaming. I want to be the president of my country. I want to do this. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do this. I want to do that. But when you come out of school, you have your PhD, you start working. What happens? You forget about that. Many forget about that. So by 25, they are dead, because they don't dream any longer. They don't have any further aspiration. Many die at 25, but it is only when they get to 75, maybe when they die physically, that they are buried. So many die at 25, but buried at 75. So let us not stop dreaming, but let us continue dreaming and also working towards achieving it. Okay, then today's class has to do with our past. Like I said, that we are going to excavate the past, and you are going to have homework as well, or assignment to do. Now, let me just help you out by reading this to you. Many a times, our past has answers to who we are and why we do what we do. You see, my past actually was a complete link to what I'm doing right now. So in your past, that is where your purpose is stored. When I say stored, part of it or the link of your purpose can be found from your past. So if you want to actually figure out who you are and what you are meant to do, the first stage is to take inventory of the past and what are the things that you need to take stock about or of. Circumstances surrounding your birth. Before you were born, what was the level of the status of your parents? What happened? What triggered your birth? And when you were born, how was your parents and what was the circumstances around them? Those things are quite very important. It is good you find out. Okay. Now there was a guy, I don't know if he's a Pakistani or Indian, an old guy. I think he's late now. He said, I read it somewhere. I read that the sister or the mother was very sick, and he was going because they were living at a place that has mountains. But because there was no direct road to take this sister or the mother to the hospital because of the mountains. Now the sister died on the way, or the mother died on the way. So what he did, because of that, he purposefully now began to drill the mountains. He worked so hard to drill the mountain, to carve out ways so that people can pass by. The mountain now became like a tunnel. So every day by day, he goes there, begins to dig and dig and dig, and he created a tunnel. So that tunnel was now an easy access for people to move from one locality to the other. So the past, because of what he suffered, because of the past, he was able to do what he did. All right. There are those who were born when their parents were so wretched, there was no money. You may be born when your parents were not in love. Okay, they were just arranged. Their parents arranged their marriage, and they just you got into this earth when there was chaos in the house. There was no love. Now remember that there was no love between your father and your mom. So what do? You can pick up that and say, you know what? Because this happened to my parents. Now the next generation, they are not going to marry. They are not going to go into marriage out of love. All right. Now, this is what you are going to do. Even yourself, you are going to marry based like this. So you are having link from what happened from your birth. All right. Apparently, maybe when you were born also, maybe there were no medical centers around. Okay. And your parents struggled to be able to give you the medical care that was good for you. They struggled for it. Now you say, you know what? If my parents struggled, to give me medical care, you know what? I will not allow others to go through the same thing that I went through. I don't know if I'm making sense here. Okay, so you pick up from the circumstances surrounding your birth, either positive or negative. Note it down. The setbacks. What are the setbacks that you have ever encountered in life? Are there things when you were growing up that you struggled to get, or you wanted to travel abroad? It wasn't easy for you to travel, either because there was no money, either because there was no one to help you, either because the documentation, either because of wrong government or whatever. Note those things down. More especially personal setbacks, personal setbacks. Note those setbacks down. It is very, very important. These are linked. These are clues. These are pointers to your purpose. Don't forget that. What are the breakthroughs that you have experienced? You have to note them down. Now, please, if possible, note down. If possible, take a screenshot. This is key that we are picking up here. Okay. What are the failures that you have suffered, either in class? Okay. One of us was telling me how he struggled to be able to pass some classes and stuff, Now, if there are some areas that you failed, it may be academically, it may be morally, it may be emotionally, it may be in marriage, it may be in relationship with others. Note those things down. These are pointers. There is no way, the reason why you failed was not for you to become a failure, but for you to transform your failure into success for yourself and for others. Okay, it is actually in our pain that is where the seed of blessing is tied. You cannot get gold from the ground. You cannot get crude oil from the ground until you extract it with pain. There has to be an atom of pain. There has to be an atom of strength that you have to put to be able to extract anything. So likewise, your life, before you are able to achieve something, you must fail. Failure actually is not a curse. Can I tell you what is a curse? It's when you stop trying. That's when you have actually failed. So if you have failed, no matter how many times you failed, please get up, dust yourself, and keep on going. You have not failed. Rather, I can tell you it was not the right time. At the right time, you succeed. Okay. The next one is, what are the mistakes? Apart from your failures, what are the mistakes that you have ever made? We all made terrible mistakes. Most of us who messed up. What are those things? Note them down, because at the appointed time, I'll be able to help you how you can use those things to figure out your calling or your purpose. Now, what are the triumphs you have ever recorded? Note it down. What are the defeats? Now, there's difference between failure and defeat. Now, failure is like fighting, fighting like boxing, and you are knocked down. While you are down, the referee counts 1, 2, before 10, you stand up. That is still, this is just failure. You tripped off and you fell. Okay, but defeat is when you are counted out. You are gone and out. Okay, the battle is over and the victory has been given to your opponent. That is defeat. But nevertheless, as long as we are still here, I don't consider anyone defeated, all right? We can still do a whole lot, but still know those areas. Simply means things that you tried, you struggled and said, you know what? Oh, sorry, I'm not good. I'm not good at this. I cannot do it. That is defeat. You have actually accepted defeat on those things. Note them down, all right? What are the things that you are victorious, the things that you won, the victories that you have ever won in your life or you engaged? Note them down as well. Then the last one here is what is it that you have been doing for the past 5 to 10 years, either academically or professionally? What are the things that you've been doing? What are the steps that you've been doing? What are the steps, like if you are doing a course, what are the course that you've been doing or the courses that you have taken? What are the sessions that you have taken for the past? Take note. You have to refer back to the old, okay, to the past rather. Find out the things that you have been doing for the past 5 to 10 years, okay, professionally and academically. Note them down. These are pointers. Now, what I'm giving you, these are keys. I'm giving you raw materials. So by the time we extract these raw materials, we will now take it to, when we get to purpose, we'll be able to note down, we'll be able to figure out, okay, because we are going to bring out from the past, add it together with the present, now figure out the purpose, our purpose on this earth. Okay, and what are the call to action? Like I said, you have to take a pen, note down the circumstances surrounding your birth, your background, your setbacks, your breakthroughs, your failures, your success, your mistakes rather, your triumph, your defeat, your victories, and what you have been doing for the past 5 to 10 years. Now, let me also give you a clue on how to do this. Like I said, we have the tallest building in the world in Dubai. Now, how to get there is a challenge. If you don't have a clue on how to do this, it will be very challenging for you. Let me give you the clue. Take your time. Get a quiet place, either in your room while you are alone, or go to the park or somewhere, secluded area rather. We call it solitude, okay? In a solitary place where you are all alone, quiet, and begin to think. Ask yourself, we have the conscious mind, we have the subconscious. The subconscious is the one right behind the conscious one, okay? Ask yourself question, what have I been doing for the past 5 to 10 years? What are the things that have been defeated? The things that I said, no, I'm not good at, I cannot do it. I tried it, never worked. So for that, you left those things, you have actually buried them. What are the things that you consider to be your mistakes? What are the things that were your victories, your triumph? What are the things that you failed, temporarily? What are the things that you succeeded in? Ask yourself those questions and begin to note them down, okay? So whatever that flashes in your mind, okay, consider them as story behind your history. See, there is no history without a story, and there is no glory without a story. Every glory, every success, every history has got a story. It is through your story that history is written, all right? We are reading the history of others, but you can also write a history. Simply means you can transform your life, you can transform the lives of others, and it becomes a history. So history is being written even as we speak. What I'm doing today is a history that's being written as well, because as far as I'm concerned, when I was born, I never knew I could be where I am right now. I could be helping anyone at all. So this is history in the making. You can also become a history maker. All right. So note those things down. They are very important. And they are going to be the guiding light to your path to discovery. And I want to share this story with you. So I hope I have the time. There's a guy called Wesley Brown. Okay, this guy actually, the parents, the mom gave birth to him in an uncompleted building. They were twins, himself and his brother. And because of the circumstances behind his birth or behind their birth, their mother gave them out for adoption. And a woman who had no child, a struggling woman came and took them in. And they gave the woman gave them their love, and her love rather. And they grew up also, they decided to show back the same love to this woman. This man began to struggle. He was a Black American. He began to struggle. He was moving from door to door to sell, what do you call it? I think it was radio programs and so many things. And he ended up becoming an announcer in the radio station. It was a tough, his life was just terrible. But this man decided to work so hard. Even when he was fired from the radio station, he ended up becoming a senator. He ran for an election, and won the election not only once, but twice. This man ended up becoming a millionaire before he died. I think he died early last 2 years, 2019. Okay, he was able to help as many as possible. Now, because of his background, okay, because of the circumstances behind his birth, that was what triggered, that was what gave him the fuel. That was what fired him up to become who he was before he died. And he was also a man who couldn't speak nicely like myself, all right? And but it wasn't the same thing. He transformed it around for good, okay? And this is the assignment that we are going to have. Before the assignment, let me just share this quote. Okay, the past is where you learn the lesson. I read again. The past is where you learned the lesson. The future is where you apply the lesson. Don't give up in the middle. The middle means now, okay? Whatever that has happened in the past was a lesson, okay? The future is where you are going to apply it, but there's no way you can apply it in the future until you start doing something now. Okay, so don't give up now. It is now that you need to begin to put it in place. The next one is never be defined by your past. It was just a lesson, not life's sentence. Don't allow your past to define who you are. It was just a lesson and not life sentence. And also, your past should not define you, because your real you is still right inside of you until you do something about it. The last one here is that the past is behind, learn from it. The future is ahead, prepare for it. The present is here, live it. You might be wondering, why is it that this guy likes quotes? I like to learn from the greats. I like to hear from them, those who have gone through it. I want to hear what they have to say, what they went through to be able to become who they are. So for somebody to write this kind of quote, that means there were some things that they learned. So more especially, the past is behind. It is behind, but you can make reference to it. Learn from it. The future is ahead. Prepare for it. The present is here and now. Live it. Now, there's something more important I want to talk to you about. I've always worked on the mind. When you are reflecting on the past, please hear this clearly. If you get to that terrible, maybe horrible circumstances or horrible situations, those things that gave you so much of pain, please don't dwell on those things for too long, because we are creators. Let me repeat again. When you begin to flash back to your past, and there are some terrible, some horrific or horrible circumstances around you or that happen, please don't dwell on those things for too long. Just visit it, note it down, and move ahead. Don't dwell there for too long. I'll tell you, if you dwell there for too long, you are automatically, your subconscious mind will recreate, you are going to recreate the same feelings, the same emotions that you had in that same time. If it was pain, if it was agony, if it was anguish, whatever you felt at that time, even if it was hatred for somebody, you are going to feel the same way. You are going to recreate the same thing. So please, when you are going back to the past, taking study or clue or stock of the past, anything that is so terrible, things that that gave you so much of distress, don't dwell there for long. Because if you dwell there for long, you are going to recreate recreate the same thing, the same level of pain that you felt in the past. You are going to feel it again, and it's not going to help you even now or in the future. Please, this is key. All right, now the assignment, these are the assignments. I want you to do this on your own, because I want you to submit the assignment to me by email, right? How was your early years, like we talked about? How was it? It's good you write, take your time. Please take some time off somewhere. Okay, 1 hour, 2 hours. Flashback, you can do a lot. Okay, what kind of setbacks have you or your family members suffered in the past? Okay, and the last one is what have you been doing in the past 5 to 10 years? So these are the assignments that you are going to write and also submit to me. And I'll be open to receive questions from you. I'll be open to receive questions from you.